Finally, guys, let's take a look at the cryptocurrencies. Sive Morten is here with the forexpeacearmy.com. So last time we have a detailed discussion on the changing in sentiment in the Bitcoin market, and it was mostly triggered by the appearing of the bearish grabber on the weekly chart. Weekly chart is a long-term time frame, and appearing of the big pattern there means weeks of the downside continuation. And we called to consider possible taking short position and said we consider no longs. After that, you can see what has happened. So market just collapsed. So on the monthly chart currently, I do not see a lot of things to do. The one thing that might be we could add is that, well, reaction on the yearly pivot point is accelerated. So it was just attempt to break it up. Testing of the pivot, market dropped, and you can see a week later it dropped even more. So January month currently looks not quite bullish on this overall performance. On the weekly chart, everything goes with the plan. So this consolidation remains. Market has formed the grabber that stands in place here. Potentially you could see that here might be the bullish grabber to be formed, but it's not quite so, because this is first candle after trend changing. And testing of the MACD in this case doesn't mean that this is the pattern. This is just the trend change. So whatever scenario will be where market could close, we could get either second grabber if market will close below the MACD, or we will get nominal change of the trend on the weekly chart to the bullish, but in reality it will be still just nominal trend shift because price action stands flat. And turning trend to the bullish, it doesn't mean that it changes the sentiment, because in this case it might be start looking like rising bearish dynamic pressure. What's really important here is the grabber. It suggests drop below the lows. So I would say that overall plan that we discussed here stands intact. No big changes have happened, no big events. So everything goes just very accurate with the plan and scenario that we discussed. The same we could say on the daily. Drop has been stopped only by some kind of lower border of this channel, you can see, and testing of the daily oversold area. But take a look at the acceleration 2 days ago. It's really fast. This action currently, our suggestion that it relates not to the Donald Trump, not to United States and so on. It directly relates to the yields of the Japanese bonds. Because rising of the yields decrease attractiveness of the foreign assets, and since Bitcoin doesn't generate any income, I mean return as bonds, for example, it's becoming less attractive, especially if you take in consideration the risk factors of the Bitcoin. It's really has really big volatility. That's why the positions in the Bitcoin are the first that investors are contracting with the impact of the rising yields in Japan. This is our view. That's why, despite that the recent speech in the Davos Forum of the Donald Trump has brought no big fruits, we think that it has minor impact on the overall performance. We think that this is not the background. So currently we will be watching what will happen. By our opinion, with this setup that we have, we could keep following with this pattern that we talked about previously. Market here has formed bearish reversal swing. You can see that the swing down is greater than the previous swing up, and after reversal swing you could count on some more or less deep retracement. In these circumstances, the shorter probably will be lower, or somewhere around 95 maybe. And if you take a look at the hourly chart, in my case this is 2-hour chart, we have great thrust down, and in fact we have double repo buy pattern here. Its target, it's 92.50, it's minimum target of this pattern. So everything goes, as I said, perfectly with the scenario that we talked about. This stands accurately with the possible shape of the hand shoulders pattern. So if I will slop the neckline a bit, so currently of course we could suggest some smaller shoulder, which 93, 92.50, that is follows with this double repo, fits perfect to this idea. So that's in fact what we intend to keep an eye on. This is the patterns that we intend to follow. So currently, I don't know if you're a scalp trader, you of course could try and take the long position against these lows with the target around 93, maybe slightly high, 92.50. But our major scenario that is based on the weekly pattern, on the fall time frame chart, big pattern, we are watching mostly for chances to sell. Supposedly it should be around 93, but we will see how the upward action will be, what the shape it will take, and later we will able to estimate the level with the more precision. So that's what we have currently on Bitcoin market. Let's keep watching.